So today the topic is study abroad. I don't know how many of you may be thinking of going abroad. Even if you have no plan of going abroad, it is still better to know about a topic like this. Because what I have seen from the last 3-4 years is that several of my students, especially students studying in zoology, if I am taking the last batch, last 3-4 batches, from each batch, maybe 4 or 5, 3, 4, sometimes 5, sometimes 6 students are going abroad, and they are going abroad within 1 year, sometimes 2 years, and some may be going abroad after 5 years or more. So this trend of going abroad is increasing. So I thought it would be better if students are given some kind of guidance on what are the factors you should take care while you are going abroad. Now we will begin the class with first what are the advantages of going abroad. As I told you, one of the important advantages of going abroad is certainly we may be able to get a higher income. That is the principal advantage of going abroad. And study, and if when you are living abroad, you know that the situation in India as well as in Kerala, and when we compare our living standard with the living standard in Europe or America and American countries or Australia or New Zealand, where whatever countries you compare it, they are far better. You might have seen a cinema called Edam Kadalinakare. That film might have been produced some 30 or 30 years back, or 35, I don't know exactly. Anyway, it was very long. It was an old movie. You just see that movie and compare what is the reality, what is the situation in that movie shown in America, and what are the facilities we are having at the moment. So you can see that our country is behind in maybe 25 years back or 50 years back in many of the facilities. So that is one important reason why many students are also tempted to go abroad. Then career opportunities itself is also a major reason. So you know that in every subject, you may be studying physics, chemistry, botany, then mathematics, then accountancy, whatever subject you are studying here, it is not easy to get the job you are desiring for. If you are lucky, you may be able to get into a government job. Some people maybe get a good private job also. So that is but if you are going to be in Canada, Canada has very limited population. You know how much is the population of Kerala? It is less than the population of Kerala. Less than the population of Kerala. The population of Kerala is around 35 million or 3.5 crores, and in Canada it is around the same. I think 35 crores or some nearly around that amount, nearly around that number itself. So that is the situation that the people of Kerala are facing these days. That is why many of the young are going to the Canada or other destinations. Then is there any disadvantages? Certainly there are a number of disadvantages also. And we have to keep in mind these disadvantages when you are choosing a place. First thing is that if you go abroad, coming back to India and settling in India may not be very easy. And because even if you are, because you won't be able, for example, you may be thinking going to Canada or some other European country for 10 years or 15 years, and after that come back and settle here. But it won't be easy to get a job there. So that is one problem that most of the NRIs usually face. You know what is the situation of Gulf returnees. Then other problem is that if your children are growing up in a European or American country or in a developed country like that, they will certainly don't adjust to the situation here. That is another. What are the situation? You may be having your relatives working abroad, so you can ask them. So children won't be coming. Then the other reason is that basically these children won't be adjusting because they are brought up there and they see the facilities in India and facilities abroad are completely different. But there is also another problem when you are living in a foreign country. Whichever foreign country you are, once you go from your native place to even if you go to a Asian country like that, you will be treated as a second class citizen. So that happens everywhere. Whether you go to Europe, you go to Canada, you go to Australia, you go to America, or even if you go to or neighboring countries like Maldives, or I have been in Maldives for 2 years as a teacher, and the people of Maldives never give them too much respect as we think. So whichever country you are going, this always happen. You do not get the first class treatment there. Whether you go to America, or you go to Canada, or you go to any country, this problem always will be there. And there is always another problem is that, and usually what happens when your children are being raised there, they will also face a similar problem. They are neither Indian, neither American, or neither Canadian. They are in between. That happens because if you honestly ask any NRN, that problem will be always there. So they have a cultural clash of whether they should follow Indian system, or they should follow American or Canadian system or European system in whichever country. So this conflict will be there. So we have to be prepared for all this. But still there are advantages. So these are some of the major disadvantages. But when we have no other option, people are always thinking of advantages rather than disadvantages. Now we will see another thing. What are the countries you can choose for? I have given a list of several countries here, and it first give you an idea of what are the countries you can choose from. The most important you have, the first one is Australia. Australia, regarding one important advantage of Australia, when I asked several study abroad agents, they told me one thing very clearly, that the best education system in the world is given in USA. After USA comes the UK. UK is the second best second best place for education. Third comes the Australia. Now going to USA may not be as easy. I will tell you the reason. So Australia, as far as the quality of education is concerned, if you want to go to a place for study, Australia may be a good option, maybe one of the best option. Then and because the climate in Australia is very good, because it is most places it will be between 10 and 20 degrees centigrade. So that is favorable climate. But if you go to Canada, you know what is the situation in Canada. It's below, most of the time it is below 0 degrees centigrade. I have few of my friends there. They say that the temperature sometimes go to -20, -30 itself. So I told them, how will you go to office doing that? When everybody is going, we also go. There is no other option. That's the answer they have given. So that is regarding Australia. One important advantage is that getting the PR. There are three countries which are best for getting PR. One is Canada, second is Australia. So these are the best countries for getting, and UK sometimes, if you are lucky, may be able to get a PR. So Australia has definitely some important advantages. The climate is favorable. It is more nearer to India, because going to Australia, maybe the flight charge from Kochi to Australia may be around 50,000. But if you take Canada, the flight charge is more than 1 lakh or 1.25 lakhs. So that difference is there. So when you are coming home with the family, you know how much you have to spend. But with regard to Australia, there are cheap airlines like AirAsia. They may be even offering tickets less than 45,000, sometimes 40,000. So Australia has that advantage. But the problem with Australia is that Australia has the highest fees. Because if you want to study in Australia, in most of the universities, the fees may be around 30 lakhs or 35 lakhs. And 35 lakhs. But after discount, if the fees may be 35 lakh, maybe most of the time they will offer 25% discount. Some universities offer 20% discount. Some university offer 30% discount. So if the fees is around 33 lakhs, then after discount it comes to 25 lakhs. So that is the amount of fees. So scholarship rate is highest in Australia compared to the Canada. Canada, they only will give very limited scholarship. So these are the features of Australia. We will come back to Australia again. Then Canada, if you take the Canada, Advantage of Canada is that Canada has the cheaper the educational expense you have to incur in Canada is one of the lowest. Most of the time, if you are going to Canada, it may be between 8 lakh or six. Some universities, some college. There are colleges also in Canada. Because in other Australia, you have to most of the time you have to go to a university. But in the use of this Canada, most students are going to instead of university going to Canada. So so expense per year may vary from 8 lakhs to 12 lakhs. That is the expense you have to incur in the use of Canada. So as I told, Canada has the problem of the Canada is that it's far. The climate is very unfavorable. Out of the 12 months, maybe 4 months you have a comfortable weather, and remaining 8 months is too cold. And that is why there are only few people in Canada. Canada is a very large country, maybe 2, 3 times or 4 times larger than India. So you can imagine that in a large country like that, the population is only around the population of Kerala, 3.5 crores. So then another problem that students usually face in Canada is that if you want to do a master degree in Canada, you need 16 years of education. So that means if you have a degree here, you cannot directly go and do the PG. You have to do one more year extra. So most of the time, what happens is that if students will go for 1 year postgraduate diploma or a graduate diploma, that will be 1 year. So 50. That means our education system is 10 years school education, 2 years plus two, and 3 years degree. Only 15 years we will be completing. But in Canada, we need 16 years to do the post graduation. So you have to do an extra course there. Then only you can do the masters. But in the case of Australia or in any other country, this problem is not there. So so if you are going to or going with an educational purpose to Canada, this is a major disadvantage. One study abroad agent clearly told me that most of the people who are going to Canada are not going for studying purpose. They want a easy job and they want to settle in Canada. So we have to weigh between different types of your options. So going to Canada may be good if you want an easy job, if you want to settle easily. So that is one important. Then climate of the Canada is not very favorable. Coming to your home state may not be easy. Then another problem, but there are also advantages because PR option. Australia gives most number of PR. You know what I will talk about PR later. So Canada has that problem, but there are some advantages also in the case of Canada. If you do 1 year postgraduate diploma, you will get 1 year stay back. But there are some places in Canada, I think, where if you do a 2 year, but if you are doing 2 year, if you are doing a 2 year course, you will be getting 3 year stay back. Same is the case in Australia. In the case of Australia, if you are doing a 2 year master degree, you will be getting 3 years stay back in most of the places of Australia, except the major cities like Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. These are the major cities of Australia. Except these major cities, in whichever city you are doing masters, you will get 3 years stay back. Same is the case in Canada. If you are doing 2 year course, you will be getting 3 years stay back. So that is so 3 years stay back is a major advantage. Because when you are looking for a PR, 2 plus 3, 5 years, you can show that. In the case of Australia also, you can show that. Then next country is the New Zealand. If you take the New Zealand, the educational quality of the New Zealand system is very good. Most of the universities are also coming under the world ranking of below 200. Same is in the case of Australia also, they have world-class universities. But regarding the Canadian system, there are only few universities, not much universities, and most of the students are going to colleges which doesn't have any ranking. But if you have an intention of coming back, and for maybe you want to go to Canada or Australia to do research and spend some 10 years there, and then come back to India and join as a college lecturer or something else, that may not be very easy if you are settling in Canada. But if you got into if you get into a good university, like there are good university, Toronto University of Toronto, there are such famous universities there. They have world ranking. But most of the time, students are going to colleges. Now, in the case of New Zealand, also they have many good universities, and the fees in New Zealand is slightly less than the fees that are charged in Australia. And the New Zealand climate in the New Zealand is also between around 10 and 20 degrees centigrade. That is, and New Zealand is more cooler and more greener. And if you take Australia, if you look at the map of Australia, the central portion of Australia is actually a desert. Then if you say Canada, Canada is a cold desert, Australia is a dry desert. That's the difference. So in this New Zealand, the climate is completely favorable between 10 and 20 degree most of the time. But there is one problem with many people who are coming from New Zealand might have told you that they have very strong wind. Most of the time the winds will be blowing. It is an island nation, and that is located in a roaring forties. It's a 44th degree latitude. And because of the presence of roaring forties, 40-degree latitude, most of the time there will be strong wind. That is one problem people from New Zealand often told me. So, but in the case of New Zealand, if you are doing 1 year course, if there is a major city in New Zealand called Auckland, if you are doing a course in Auckland for a 1 year course, they will give you 1 year stay back. But if you are doing the same course outside Auckland, for 1 year course you will get 2 years stay back. And no other country you will get 2 years stay back for a 1 year course. So if you are lucky, if you are very good, if you do a small course for example, for doing a 1 year course, maybe the fees may be sometimes 15 lakhs or and with a discount, you can manage from 12 lakhs. Then another 10 lakhs you can spend for a living standard. For if you are spending 20 lakhs, you can stay there for 3 years. And if you are lucky, if you are able to get a job within 3 years, you can stay there. That is one option most of the time students are doing. They don't go for masters. Instead of going for the masters, they do a postgraduate diploma of 1 year. Then other advantage is that if with that they will be working there. And for example, you can do, if it's a physics, there will be postgraduate diploma in physics. Then after doing postgraduate diploma, if you do 1 more year, you can get a master's also. So that advantage is, I mean, almost all the countries that advantage. Australia also that advantage is there. You can do the course in split. You can first do postgraduate diploma. But if you keep it, but in the case of Australia, you cannot directly take a postgraduate diploma and go there, because to get the visa, you need 2 year course. Without 2 year course, they will not give you a visa. But in the case of New Zealand, if you are, even if you are going for a 1 year postgraduate diploma, they will get a visa. So that is a major advantage. But there are problems also. New Zealand is a small country. Compared with Australia, the job market New Zealand is very limited. There are more jobs in Australia compared with New Zealand. It's a smaller country, and most of the jobs are mainly present in the city area called Auckland. Auckland is a major city there. So these are some important problems problems and advantages of these three countries. Now I will tell you about USA. The advantage of USA is that there is no doubt USA has the best university. The very best research facilities in any country compared with any other country is present in USA. So it is number one in educational quality, and most of the world-class universities are all in USA. Then, but there are few problems also. That the fees is not too high. In most of the universities, we may be around 12 lakhs. I will give you a list later. Between 12 lakhs and 15 lakhs per year, that will be the fee. Then one major problem students usually face is that you may not have heard of any travel agent advertising study in USA. Very few travel agents may be telling you about the study in USA. Okay, so in the case of US, the major problem is that too many people are applying. I went to USA once, and I for my visa, I have to visit the consulate in Chennai. When I went there, around 2,000 people were given interview the same day, and I have to wait outside the main gate for 1 hour or two thing. Inside there are three sections of queue. So only after first standing four queues, it will take around 3 hours from the first queue to the last queue. We have reached the interview board. So they will be. I went for attending a conference, so I got the visa. But most of the people who are coming there are basically students. And one person told me with regard to 50% of the students they will reject. So getting the visa in the case of USA may not be easy. So that is the main problem in USA. And there is also another problem. If you are doing a master's in USA, in Australia, if you do 2 year master, you get 3 years stay back. Same is in Canada and New Zealand. But in the case of USA, they will give you only 60 days. Within 60 days, you have to find the job. But there are certain other features that an optional practical training. And then if you, for example, if you are doing a course in microbiology or in physics, if you are lucky, if you are getting for optional practical training, you have to apply. And in that case, you will get additional, and if you can stay there up to 1 month, 1 year. So that way you can increase your stay. And for STEM courses, STEM means science, technology, engineering, and maths. You might have heard about the STEM much, but if you go abroad, there you always use the STEM, STEM. For such courses, they will be giving up to 2 years. So, for other courses, staying in USA beyond 1 year is very difficult. So within 1 year, you have to find a job, and job market in USA is very, very difficult. Too much competition is there. So only if you have some relatives there, or if you are highly brilliant, I will suggest you to go to USA. Otherwise, if you even after spending too much money there, because getting the PR is simply difficult. People are telling about green card. One of my student about 2 years back, somehow he went to USA. Now he is working in USA, but his family might have gone there far earlier. That is why he could able to get a visa in USA easily. Otherwise, it's not. It's very difficult. Now, in the case of the UK, UK is also good for PR, because if you are in UK for 5 years, you can get a PR. But regarding UK, that's the second best educational place, educational country. And in the case of UK, there are some of the master degree courses are 1 year. Some in most, not only in UK, in all the European countries, the master degree courses may be 1 year. So you don't need to spend, if you want an MSc, you can go to UK or any other European country, and you can finish your masters in 1 year. But that masters won't be accepted here. The problem is that if you want to continue in European country, that's fine, no problem. Even if the expense is more, 15 lakhs or something, with 1 year you will get you may be studying almost everything. There is not much difference. You will get the post graduation or masters. But UK also have 2 year courses, and advantage of the UK is that UK has good employment opportunities are there, but finding a job after, because UK usually offer around 1.5 years of stay back, sometimes 2 years stay back. So that is the case regarding the UK. Then Germany. About the Germany, the major advantage of Germany is that there is no tuition fee in Germany. So if you are doing a master for 2 years, you may be paying as a very little, maybe 50,000 as to fees for 2 years. That is but instead of 50, instead of 30 lakhs or 25 lakhs, you are only paying 50,000. And because German system, the education is free, just like in Kerala. But for living expense, you have to spend around 10 lakhs each year. That is same in almost all the European countries, except few lesser developed European countries. So Germany, so in the case of Germany, The advantage is that even without IELTS you can go. There is no tuition fee. If you have sufficient amount of 20 lakhs, you can go and study in Germany and be there for 4 years comfortably. The Germany gives 2 years stay back. But German system has its own disadvantage. I am not simply focusing on that. You have to weigh what are the advantages and disadvantages. Clearly, the advantages and disadvantages should be in your mind when you are choosing a country. The problem with the Germany or any other European country is that in Germany you can learn English and you can be comfortable in English if you practice well. But to study a foreign language is not so easy. I was in Maldives for 2 years, and I was teaching students in high school classes there, but I couldn't learn that language. But some people easily learn that language. So we cannot be sure, we can't be sure that whether we'll be able to study and master that language easily and be fluent in that language. Unless you get the fluency in German, you won't be able to get a job. That is a big, important problem in Germany or any other. If you go to France also or any other Europe, you have to master, you have to study and be fluent in their language. Then only you will be able to get it. Because if you I have been in Germany once, and when I was asking a person in the train and about direction, he told me, speak in Deutsch. Deutsch means German. And because if I know German, I will be speaking in German. Because they don't even like to hear English. Because they hate English people. And if you are speaking in English, they will also show the same hatred towards us. So that problem is there in Germany. You cannot manage with English in Germany. And same is the case in France also. Because they are age-old rivals. So because Germany think German people think they are the greatest people. English people think they are the greatest. French people think they are the because they all have the colonial mindset. Now, so that is the so if you are in Germany, most of the time German get after getting a job in Germany maybe it may not be easy. Without a job, you won't be able to stay in Germany or get a PR. So even if they don't give you free education, sometimes after you have to still spend 20 lakhs. And after spending 20 lakhs, sometimes you have to come back empty-handed. I know one student who went to UK from zoology itself. He went to UK. He was there for doing some course, and after spending 2 years, that he came back. Now he is thinking of going to Canada. So when you are choosing a place, this is an important whether you will be able to stay there more for a longer time. At least unless you are able to stay there for 10 years or 15 years, you won't be able to recover the expenses you have incurred for your education. So Germany never expect you to be there, but one person blindly told me that they want the people to study in Germany, and go back to their home country and say that how great is the German education system, and they will. So that is their intention, and the free education they are giving. Most of the time they will be showing it as aid to developing countries. So, even though they say that it is for you might have heard about DAAD scholarship. DAAD is a DAAD, DAAD scholarship. It is a scholarship offered by German to Indian students or other Asian students. So this kind of scholarship finally they will be showing as aid to developing countries. So the problem with Germany is that for education system is just for education system and if you are going to if your purpose is going and get a good education and come back, then it's fine. But only if you are lucky, you will be able to stay in Germany for a longer period. Now, there are these are the major countries people are usually choosing from. I have included few other places like that. For example, Malaysia. Malaysia staying back may be difficult because maybe after 1 year you can stay in Malaysia after the studies. But Malaysia has number of world-class universities. Even many Australian universities have their branches in Malaysia. And Malaysia is a fine, good place. I have been to Malaysia also. And what I see in Malaysia, if you go to Malaysia, one suggestion I want to tell you is that once you completed your education, if you got some little amount of money, maybe 20,000 or 30,000, go to Malaysia or Thailand and see what is happening there. Then you will understand how much developed these countries are there. So if you have a because going to Malaysia, we may need only around 15,000. Flight charges are usually around 15,000 or 18,000, and if you have another 10,000, you can be in Malaysia for 1 week. So so going to Malaysia is very so that is living expense in Malaysia is cheap. Tuition fee in Malaysia usually varies to between 2.5 lakhs to 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs. That is the amount that you so if you are spending around 10 lakhs maximum, maybe 8 to 10 lakhs, you can do your masters in Malaysia and do it in a great good university, and you can come back. But if you are lucky, finding a job in Malaysia may be possible, but Malaysian government never encourages people to stay there. They give us preference to Malaysians always. So that is the case. Now another country similar to Malaysia is Taiwan. Taiwan, if you want to go to the Taiwan, there are a number of sites available. I will give you a link here. Taiwan is a good place. If you don't have much money with you, going to Taiwan may be a good option, because if you go to this link, you can see the details. So there are a lot of options. Because advantage of going to Taiwan is that if you have some 7 lakhs or 8 lakhs, you can do a master's, but then including your tuition fee and living expense. Maybe you can manage with the 8 lakhs. And Taiwan has many good university. Taiwan is industrially and is very advanced. And most of our electronic products are coming from Taiwan. Even most of the computer and phones are made. Many of the products are made in Taiwan. So, with regard to industrial development, Taiwan has very advanced, has progressed a lot. I have been in Taiwan University also once for going for a conference. And what I saw in Taiwan is that Taiwan looks like Kerala, and the climate is quite as similar to Kerala. For example, just like our temperature, 25 to 30 degree, we can see a lot of plantains or coconuts. It's an island country and warm weather, and people are also quite friendly. And I find the place very good. And the other thing is that food is also not very expensive. So these are some of the important advantages of whether you are in Malaysia or in Taiwan. And Taiwan also allows you to stay there for 6 months to 1 year. After 1 year, within 1 year, if you are able to get a job, you can be there for a longer time. And so the many students are choosing Taiwan because it's an Asian country. You are treated more warmly than in either than compared to the European or American countries. Because if you go to American or European university, they always have that mind, which I told you, which I had said earlier. But that such problem is not there in Taiwan. So then other country is the Singapore. In the case of Singapore, education system is expensive. But because if you have to spend around 15 lakhs for 1 year course, maybe 10 lakh between 10 lakhs and 15 lakhs for each course, it varies. So that is a problem. But staying back in Singapore is not easy. Maybe up to 1 year, you may be able to stay in Singapore. After that, you have to within 1 year you have to find a job. Then you can continue there. But Singapore is a good place, almost like Kerala, more developed. The landscape, and it's a small country. It's a highly developed country. So there are some of important advantages also in being in Singapore. So and there are a number of good universities, highly ranked universities are there. Then another country which you can choose is China. Around 5 lakhs people are in China, studying in China from different countries of the world. Now, in the case of China, it's very cheap. The education system in China is not so expensive. You may have heard about people going to China for medicine. So it's very cheap. That is one important advantage of China. I will show you the price of these are some of the well-ranking universities, and you can see how much amount you have to spend each year. These are famous universities in China, and all these universities are far ahead of our universities. And so, because I have been to one China to a university in China in 2017 for a conference, what I saw is that that university itself is located in a 6 kilometer area. 6 kilometer from one gate to other gate, it is 6 kilometer total area of that university. That's very far. We have to move inside the university in electrical vehicles. So that is the way, and there are 10,000 or more students are studying in most of the universities of China. So in case of science and technology, China is very far ahead. And development-wise also, the present China is almost similar to Europe. What you are seeing in Europe will be you will be getting same picture in China also. So don't compare China is slightly more. I went to China with that impression, but I got disappointed. China is several times ahead of India in terms of development. But for a student, there are some obvious advantages. One is a lower fee, and getting admission in a Chinese university may not be very difficult. But the travel agents may never advertise Chinese university because they won't get any commission. Because a low fee, will not be getting any commission. But you can directly apply. Going through the website, you can apply. In the case of China and also there's Taiwan, Malaysia, you have to directly apply. It's not difficult process. But you can go to, for example, I have given you a link on and Taiwan. Just like that, there is one site. If you want an admission in a Chinese university, please go and check this website. And in this website, there are everything about this Chinese admission in a Chinese university is mentioned here. So advantage of China is that lower tuition fee, lower living expense, and China there is no snow in China. If you go to Canada, it's very difficult, and because the most of the time temperature may be below 0 degree. Here there is no such problem. China has a pleasant weather because it uses most of the time it will be between 25 to 15 degree. So it's a comfortable weather. So that advantage is there. But then some and China, even though we politically Indian government and Chinese government are are at loggerhead, are enemies of each other. The people of China loves Indians. When you go to China, most of the time they will ask you whether you know dance, because they are fans of our Bollywood films. And like Shah Rukh Khan, Amir Khan, or all Hindi actresses are very famous. Not only in China, almost all South Asian countries, these people are very famous. And Chinese people expect that all Indians dance well. So when if you are in China, they will always ask you, do you dance well? So that is something we have experienced when we were in China. But regarding Chinese people, that all Chinese people know dance. But that is not the case with Indian people. Very few Indians dance. So that is one thing about the China. Then we have a few more countries. Then here country that is Taiwan. I think I told. Then Bulgaria. Bulgaria is a European country. Advantage of Bulgaria is that it has a lower tuition fee, and other advantage is that if you for stay living expense in Bulgaria is one of the lowest. So that advantage is there. That's why I have also included. But if you don't have much money, much budget to go abroad, and you still want to experience a European lifestyle, you can think of this country. But in all these European countries, you can't manage with English much. You have to study the local language, whether it is in Bulgaria, Italy, France, any country. Without getting the fluency in the local language, getting a job may be difficult. And that is the case in China also. If you are going to these places like China, Taiwan, the first thing you can do is that you learn, for example, for 1 year you learn the course. Chinese. If you are going for one, even if you are spacing 1 year, that will be beneficial for you later. Because Chinese people don't know any English. When I was in China, I went to a hotel and there was a lady sitting there. You know how much we have to tell an hotel. We want a room and we have to pay the cash. What we were doing is that, and when we are telling something, she will be giving her phone, and we will type the matter on in her phone, and give the phone to her, and she will translate it into Chinese. And what she want to tell, she will write in Chinese and translate it in English and show us. This is what you have meant. So that is the way we are talking, communicating in China. In China, you can't manage with English. That we have to give. Same is the case in Taiwan also. Taiwan is slightly more better. But still, when I was in Taiwan, we were communicating, when we are shopping, we are communicating most of the time in sign languages. So, but when the Taiwan I went in 2014, China I went in 2017. So the technology little advanced. Now we have this Google Translate. So going and communicating to any country is not a big problem. Even if because of Google Map, without asking anyone, you can travel. That's easy. So these are some of the major countries you can choose. Now, next I will show you. So I think this area we can see that what are the stay back duration in different country. Canada I have all mentioned here. Canada 2 to 3 years. So highest stay back is available in Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. So regarding Australia, I told you that except three major cities, in all other cities of Australia, you will be able to get 3 years stay back. And if you want to go for PhD, if you are doing a PhD, it takes minimum 4 years. And if you are doing a 4 years PhD in Australia, you can get 4 years stay back in certain rural areas. So that advantage is there. So whenever you are choosing a country, you have to take all these factors into consideration. Then next is the this I have shown here. Now here I will show you an important thing. This is the acceptance of foreign degree in India. Some people may have the idea of going to a foreign country and settle there. That may be the intention of some people. Some people may want to go to a foreign country, make some money, and come back and settle here and India in our God's own country itself. But those students who have that option, but have to think carefully when selecting a course, because we have an association of Indian University. It is a UGC recognized government body. So when you are doing a course in a foreign country, you can get that. For example, you are doing a master of physics or master of zoology or master of botany, and you want to come back to India and use that same qualification to get into a college or some other institution. It is possible if you follow certain condition. Our this evaluation division is under the control of government Association of Indian University. You can apply to this university and this center, and if you pay a fees of 10,000, you can get your masters in a foreign country accepted here. So the fees is around 10,000. But there are a few conditions. I will tell you what are the important conditions of accepting your course. One is that you have to be a full-time student. You have to be a full-time regular student. That is the one condition. If you do a part-time course, that course won't be accepted. You will accepted for equivalency. Then another second condition is the duration of the course. For example, in the case of India, the master degrees are 2 years. In many European university or European country, there are 1 year masters. If you do a 1 year master in physics or chemistry and come back to India, that is worthless. It is useless actually. You cannot do anything with that because that degree won't be accepted here. That problem. So when you are choosing a university, a course, always choose a 2 year master. So what I was telling you is that when you are doing a course, when you are selecting a course, it's very important that you select a course of same duration as it is present in India. So that is an important thing you have to keep in mind. So if you go to any European country and do your 1 year master, and it is impossible to come back to India. You have to be in a European country itself. But if that is because after 15 years or 10 years or 15 years, you want to come back to India and use that qualification to get into some as a school teacher or something, it is impossible. So that problem is there. So while selecting a course, make sure that you select a course that is of equal same duration as a course offered by Indian university, then the eligibility condition should be same. And that is another thing that you have to keep. That means, for example, in Kerala or in India, for doing PG, you have to complete degree. If there are any universities abroad that where that will allow you to go to masters after completing +2, that will not be accepted. So these are the three basic conditions, and they have to keep in mind.